Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. In this video, we're going through my round 8 AFLW fantasy team review, in which was a really poor round for me for a multitude of reasons. McLaughlin got pushed forward. I don't know why. And then obviously for most people would know that I did the window trade, trading her in only for her to have a tight calf on Thursday or whatever it was. I didn't read exactly into it as I was out, but I knew that my trade was locked anyway, so I couldn't maneuver the trade. And I'm pretty sure at that point, I'm not 100% sure, but I could have probably done the cause to Young trade if I hadn't looked at a text and seen it at 7:30 rather than the sort of 6:30 or something like that. So yeah, I didn't see that until very late, and that was too much time had gone by the time that happened. So that yeah. So yeah, I saw it at 7:20, and I believe it was a 7:05 kickoff. So there was no way that I could have actually been able to see it and get it in time, because yeah, it was a 7:15 kickoff, and I saw it at 7:20. So the game had already started 5-10 minutes in. So there was no way I was going to be able to change that because I was out. But anyway, let's just jump into this and see what happened. For everything said and done, it wasn't actually the worst. Still scored a 13.97, which was pretty poor, a round rank of 13.51, but the total points of 11.733. And if I had the covering fire of Young over window, then I would have ended up actually on around about what would it have been? Somewhere around the 80th rank rather than the 108. So I slipped back about 30 ranks because of that a little stuff up there. But the big stuff up was McLaughlin. She lost a mountain of cash. I believe it was about 200k this week. If I had gone McLaughlin, McCormack, and also Conan to Chaplin, Goodwin, and someone else, I would have been absolutely on fire, but I didn't. So I copped the 90 points there alongside the 50 points, or it would have been about 70 points there. So that was about 70 points, and then 90, so about 160 points I could have probably optimized. And then if I'd gone the Riddell captaincy route there, I would have ended up with another 40 odd points probably. So there was at least, I would say, roughly 180 points burned, and 180 points burned, if we look at it, would get me to 910 or so optimality wise, and that would have put me at 26. So if I had just done a couple of trades, which probably should have done, then I would have ended up a lot better. But it is what it is. Mistakes happen and stuff, and you're bound to have that. So we just got to figure out a way, best case, well, not worst, best case scenario, but just figure out a way in which we can somehow fix up this, because it is kind of a little bit of a mess at the moment, I won't lie, with everything that I've got here. So McLaughlin, 24, I did not expect them to chuck their best defender / midfielder of the last month up forward against Brisbane. That was one of the stupidest moves that they could have done. Like, what were they genuinely actually thinking was going to happen? And she scored a 24, so she's back down to earth, averaging 71 for the year, and has to be moved on. There's no way that you can keep her at this point. Reece Shaw is an absolute travesty of a coach and genuinely should be sacked, because his team lost by 15 goals or whatever it was. Maybe not 15, I think it was maybe 11, 12 goals. And they barely have been competitive, to say the least. They won one game all year, and they have been absolutely horrendous. And so, they basically haven't been competitive other than beating the Giants. And that was kind of a surprise in that game, to be all honest with you. They had one good quarter where they kicked 4 goals, and aside from that, it was a rather even game. And they've conceded more than 100 points on 2 occasions, more than 80 on another 2, I believe, and still a couple of games where they've conceded and lost by 40, 50 plus points. So and they have a percentage of 37, so I don't see how they're going to do really that well. And their team is just horrific. I wouldn't be surprised if Rowbottom wants out at the season end. You can see Watson scored 65 against GWS. Not the best result, but for her, it's fine. Lost a little bit of cash, but that's fine. Tilly Lucas Rob went 82, not the best, not the worst against Freo. That game was just really poor. but she ended up with the 17 touches, 4 marks, 6 tackles for the 82. McCormack, 53. That was a really poor start from her. Only the 3 tackles, which was probably the difference there. If she gets her customary 5 tackles, she ends up on a 65, which wouldn't have been the worst. But she probably has to be moved on if possible. But I might look at just a McLaughlin and window trade to a Chaplin and potentially a rookie. That might be the route that I go down. And potentially just try and use Dunlop to get up to a cash generator there. To really try and just get some cash generation going, because I've stuffed it somehow with McLaughlin losing 200k. That's basically what's happened, and there's it's going to be really hard to generate some cash from here on out, to be honest with you. Lucas Rod, etc. McCormack, Goodwin, 75. She's all right. She didn't do much, but it's something. And it seems like the mid-70s are where she's at, rather than that big game. She was on like 52 at halftime and then just did nothing for the remainder of the game, which was really, really annoying, because I thought she might be able to challenge Chaplin, who just got away and just went absolutely nuts. But she had in the third quarter 16, in the fourth quarter 5. So she had 21 in the second half, and she was on 54 at halftime. So that's really annoying. And then Rigioni, a DMP. Noffy, 110, doubled to a 220 in total. She had 18, 9, and then 10 tackles as well. Could have easily been a lot more. She was on 22 with about 2 minutes to go in the first half, and then went off in the third quarter with the 33 and 34 in the fourth, alongside 20 in the second quarter. But they all came, or at least 21 of those points came in the last 2 minutes or so. She had a run where she scored about 50 points in maybe 10, 12 minutes of game time, just to get herself up. But she really could have probably pushed on towards that 120, 130, but it's still an all right game. And she has West Coast this week. So yeah, she could actually do really well. Bowers could actually be one that we might move on. I know I say that as she's gone 161, 164, 131. But she does have Melbourne this week. I need to look at the matchups there, but she could be a way in which we go again, get some cash generation out of her. Go to like a Monconti who has North Melbourne. That really sucks. But go to maybe like an Ella Roberts or something, gain the 250k that allows us to go McLaughlin up or something of that regard. I'll just have to look at things. But that could be the way in which I do it. We'll just have to look at the matchups there. Gardner, she was really good again, 105 against North Melbourne. She was never a trade out, and now comes up against Carlton, has gotten through 2 tough games and is now averaging 122 on the year. So she's been absolutely perfect and really only had a couple of down games there. And then we get to Riddell, 151. 45 touches. There's not much more that needs to be said. And she also had the 6 marks and 5 tackles. So she did exactly almost the perfect game. And a 151 was absolutely huge. Now comes up against Richmond. You're probably going to VC her or captain her depending on the draw. Yeah, she's been fantastic and back to her best. She is now averaging 124 for the year. So we got Bowers on 113, Gardner on 122, Noffy on 127, and Riddell on 124. Gardner, she went 116, which is perfect. Good enough for the midfield. If we look at the round points for the midfield, you'll see that if we go to midfielders here, aside from Conti, Roberts, and Zippy Fish came out of nowhere, you can see quite a few of the top-ish scorers, or more of the consistent top scorers. And so that's really, really good to have. And then Reedy, DMP, I've really stuffed up my cash gen the last couple of weeks. It's been really hard and really should have probably just focused on continuing on cash gen rather than trying to go for the out and out top liners. That was probably a little stuff up there that has caused this, because McLaughlin's move forward has stuffed up my cash generation, and I'm really struggling with team value now, I would say, compared to the top liners. Scholes, 97, really, really good. She's just continued on her very way, I guess, 92 average for the year now, and she's really just putting it up against the top rucks and running close anyway. So obviously would love Wales with how Wales is going, but Scholes is a good substitute at this point. Dunlop annoyingly lost a little bit of cash. I think it was about 20k. So that was a little bit annoying. And then Goldsworthy, 74, would have loved her to kick on against a pretty easy matchup in St Kilda, but she had 20 touches, 3 marks, 5 tackles, 2 free kicks against, doesn't help, alongside the 2 missed shots. That's a potential, 6, 10, so that's 16 points that she burned there if she kicked those 2 goals. But oh well, 74, she's still going to be the top forward for the year. Monaghan went 75 against North Melbourne. That's always, you take that and you run, because she is, it's always hard to score against North Melbourne. So when you can get close to your average against them, job done. Too Good, 87. That was a really good round from her. She had 87 points with 19 touches, 7 marks, 5 tackles. Job done from her. Could have been probably more. And Barney went back to her best with an 81. She's probably one that I'll keep for the next little bit. Move her on to Malloy potentially in a week or two, as Malloy only did do the, what does she do here? If we just check this here. Malloy went the 48, so she dropped through the floor, which she could actually be a good just upgrade window to her if there, and then she'll probably start scoring some points back again because she's gotten through some tough matchups there. Cos DMP, and then Young with the 49 going up a little bit more in cash, which was good, and so we'll see how that flows through in the next couple of weeks. But yeah, just need to look at window upgrades alongside changing out McLaughlin because of the role change, and I just don't know where to go in the defenders. It might be to someone like a Cordner or something of that regard if I can make the cash generation work, but we'll just have to see with it. Let's just see if we can make it work, but I don't think it will. Just quickly here, if I was to do something of this regard to Malloy here, if I can just get it to work, Malloy, and then let's just grab up a 300k ruck here. Let's just go to 300kers and grab up Basenko just to see, and then I'd have 900k for a defender, which if we go all prices to a defender that I can afford, you'll see the best one for the round was the likes of Ellinger, but the more consistent ones, I mean, Cordner's I think just too expensive for me, isn't she? Cordner 839k, could go there, couldn't. We'll see what it is that I do go, but probably something of this regard is the best way to honestly go. Because yeah, as you can see, maybe too like a Thomas. She's going 60s though, so it's not that good anyway. Maybe go to a Carney who went 60 there, so maybe it is like a Carney or something of that regard that we go to there, and we'll just see how it goes depending on everything. But yeah, that's probably the way that I go. We'll just have to see because yeah, Carney I think could actually be all right value even though she's 670k. So that might be the way that we go and just try and figure it out from there. But anyway, that is the video there. If you guys did enjoy it, remember to like and subscribe. Turn the notification bell on, as we'll have trade targets, I should say, for round 9 out on the Tuesday. But anyway, I will see you guys later. Bye, guys.